Yo, stay wavy TV, ride the vibe with me, splash through your screen, drip clean like the sea, high tide energy, never on mute.
Good news, y'all. Vergilortiz has filed a lawsuit to terminate his promotional agreement with OscarDeLaHoya's Goldenboypromotions. Now, today was supposed to be the deadline for the Vergil and Boots fight to get made after OscarDeLaHoya on a clapback Thursday basically came out and said, listen, if Eddie Hearn wants to make this fight for Jaron Bootsennis, then they need to agree to a 60-40 split, with Vergilortiz being the A side with 60 and Boots getting 40. Now, what doesn't make sense about that is Vergilortiz is not champion at 154. Vergilortiz hasn't sold a crazy amount of pay-per-views, and Jaron Bootsennis has had higher gates for, you know, crowd attendance and how much he makes during a fight than Vergil. Okay, he's more popular in the sport of boxing than Vergilortiz Jr. and the numbers prove that, you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how Vergil is now basically saying he don't want nothing to do with OscarDeLaHoya no more. So let's get into it. Shout out the Ring Magazine. Vergilortiz Jr. has embraced a major fight outside the ring in an attempt to land the biggest bout of his career inside it. The Ring has learned a lawsuit was filed on Ortiz's behalf Thursday in Nevada court that would request the termination of his promotional contract with OscarDeLaHoya's company, Goldenboypromotions, which has represented Ortiz throughout a pro career that began back in July 2016. Extended their contract for 3 years in May 2024. Gregory M. Smith, Ortiz's attorney, cited declaratory relief, breach of contract, and interference with prospective economic advantage as grounds for ending that agreement in a lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court in Nevada. Why does everybody want to leave Oscar, man? Like, Ryan Garcia supposedly is in a slave contract with OscarDeLaHoya that never ends. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ryan Garcia has came out multiple times and said that he wants to leave Goldenboypromotions. We even seen Ryan click up with Floyd Mayweather, who is OscarDeLaHoya's arch nemesis, to try to get away from Golden Boy. Ortiz's hope is that separating himself from Golden Boy will help him secure the high-profile fight he wants next, a showdown with junior middleweight rival Jaron Bootsennis. So the cat's out the bag, y'all. Vergilortiz is not ducking Jaron Bootsennis. OscarDeLaHoya does not want Vergilortiz Jr. to fight Jaron Bootsennis because he doesn't feel confident that his fighter can beat Jaron Bootsennis. And if Vergilortiz, who is an undefeated knockout artist, if he loses to Jaron Bootsennis, then that's going to hurt Goldenboypromotions' pockets. You know what I'm saying? They're no longer going to be able to ask for the paydays that they're getting right now for Vergilortiz. So shout out to Vergil. I thought Vergil was the one ducking, but that's not the case. It's really OscarDeLaHoya in Vergilortiz's ear telling Vergil, look, why would you fight this guy when you could make more money fighting Errol Spence Jr., who hasn't fought in 3 years, who's basically washed up? You know what I'm saying? So Rick Merrigan, Ortiz's manager, and De La Hoya have been at odds on social media recently regarding how negotiations for a fight versus Ennis should be handled. De La Hoya threatened legal action against Merrigan for inviting other promoters to work with Ortiz, one of boxing's most entertaining knockout artists. Among the claims made in Ortiz's 32-page lawsuit, a copy of which was obtained by The Ring, is that De La Hoya's strained relationships with competing promoters and the sport's prominent power broker, Turki Al-Sheikh, has prevented Ortiz from finalizing a deal to finally fight Ennis. De La Hoya is called a controversial and divisive figure in boxing in the lawsuit, which also refers to the retired 6th Division champion's history of substance abuse. Ennis is promoted by Matchroom Boxing's Eddie Hearn, who has spoken countless times of a verbal agreement made with the Zone executives and De La Hoya last summer to make Ortiz Ennis after both boxers took interim fights they easily won by knockout last fall. Al-Sheikh is the chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority and the owner of The Ring. The lawsuit also states that the end of Golden Boy's exclusive content partnership with The Zone affords Ortiz the right to void his promotional contract. Golden Boy acknowledged that it's the zone deal ended December 31st. Its contention of Ortiz's handlers, according to the lawsuit, is that the company is negotiating another deal with the zone to provide content in 2026 and 2027, and thus retains its promotional rights to Ortiz for the duration of their aforementioned 3-year contract. The lawsuit notes that the zone executives made it clear to Ortiz's team that it would not accept any opponent next for Ortiz other than Ennis. The bout between Ortiz, who's 27, and Ennis, who is 28, is commonly considered one of the fights boxing fans most want to watch in 2026. Offering such significant matchups to its subscribers is considered vital to the zone's business because the streaming service launched the Ultimate plan last fall that costs $44.99 monthly in the US and $24.99 in the UK, and is designed to include fights that are considered worthy of the pay-per-view platform. Ortiz and Ennis both hold interim 154-pound championships. Ortiz is 24-0 with 22 KOs of Grand Prairie, Texas, is ranked number 1 among the ring's contenders for a vacant junior middleweight crown, 5 spots higher than Philadelphia's Jaron Bootsennis, who was 35-0 with 31 KOs, 1 no contest. Ennis, however, is a former ring, IBF, and WBA welterweight champ who hasn't come remotely close to losing since he made his pro debut in April of 2016. Ortiz's lawsuit is the latest on a lengthy list of Golden Boy's legal entanglements with his top fighters. Smith previously represented Canelo Alvarez when boxing's biggest star got out of his contract with De La Hoya's company and the zone late in 2020 because it didn't deliver on its initial commitment of $365 million over 11 fights. So listen, man. First of all, we got to say shout out to Devin Haney, okay? Devin Haney is the first boxer to file a lawsuit, you know what I'm saying? He filed a lawsuit against Ryan Garcia after he found out Ryan Garcia was on that ostrich, you feel me? Second of all, boxing is a business, right? And what you guys got to understand is when we don't get fights like this that we want to see, a lot of times we blame the fighters, right? But in all actuality, sometimes the fighters want to give us the fights that we want to see, but the promotional companies that they're signed to will not allow them to take those fights. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the situation here. You know, Vergil wants to fight Jaron Bootsennis. He has no problem doing the 50-50 split with Jaron Bootsennis, but OscarDeLaHoya does not want to make that fight happen because he's not confident that Vergil can beat Jaron Bootsennis. So because of that, you know, Oscar is basically, you know, poorly negotiating the fight, trying to basically force Boots to not take the fight by saying, listen, we can make the fight happen if you take 40 and we take 60. And Vergilortiz, he wants to leave this contract because, you know, Oscar got the whole world thinking that Vergil is scared of Boots, and that's not the case. These guys just faced off with each other after Vergil knocked out Erickson Lubin. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Vergilortiz. I already like Vergilortiz, but this makes me like him even more because he wants to give us boxing fans the fights that we all want to see. And I hope he is able to get out of this contract. But unfortunately, y'all, lawsuits take months, sometimes years to get finalized. And listen, it's not guaranteed that Vergil is going to be able to get out of this deal anytime soon. So as of right now, it looks like the Boots and Vergil fight is not going to happen. And listen, I think that Vergil should just go ahead and fight the winner of Fundora Keith Thurman. And I think Boots should fight Bakram. So let me know what you guys think. It's your boy Wavy, Stay Wavy TV. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up the video, leave a comment. OscarDeLaHoya, bruh. You got the worst reputation as a promoter in the sport of boxing, bro. The fact that all of your fighters, like, they sign with you and they want to leave like 3 months later, you the problem. Canelo left you, right? Ryan Garcia, he's been begging for you to let him out of his contract. And now Vergilortiz Jr. just exposed you and he wants to get out of his contract. Nasty work, Oscar. I'm out.
Yo, check it. New day, same vibe. We elevate and rise. Stay Wavy TV where the culture comes alive. From the rooftop to your screen, we keep the vision clean. Drop so fresh, make the whole world lean. Hit that subscribe, catch a wave with the team.